What is up, Minnesota Vikings? Hello, hello, good morning. Uh, what are we doing today? We're talking about the Minnesota Vikings here on Dynasty Pylon. We're going to go over the rosters, the rookies, and how this is going to affect your Dynasty rosters. Also, we're going to go into their schedule and then also just kind of see how well this team's going to do. Hopefully, it doesn't turn out as bad as what everyone's thinking. But yeah, let's get it. What is up, Brandon? How are you? Derpy, what is in the house? What's up? What's up? Guys, we're talking about the Minnesota Vikings today. It's just Vikings. It's an interesting team. All I gotta say is no Kirk Cousins. It changes the entire team. It looks completely different. They're coming with a new identity. It's crazy how just a single man can change this entire outlook of how Minnesota Vikings are gonna go. Ironically, which is crazy because he liked it there. He wanted to stay there. But the problem is they told him, hey, we're probably going to bring in a rookie QB. And that's what our plans is for. Kirk Cousins turned around and said, I don't want to be part of a team that's going to have a rookie under me. Which is weird because that's exactly what happened in his case. He signed a 4-year deal with the Falcons, and the Falcons didn't tell him. They just kind of did it anyways. And so he's kind of at square one with the new team. But, hey, we'll see how it goes for them. But that's not our problem anymore. He's no longer with Minnesota. So essentially going in before the draft, they're like, well, I guess we have to look for a new QB, right? So they did. They went at free agency. They got Sam Darnold. They signed him for a 1-year deal, which is not too bad. I mean, we've seen him play. He's probably not the worst, but it is still interesting. Then the loss of defensive line, Daniel Hunter, and then Jonathan Greenard in March. So kind of key points that we just kind of lost, like the main bodied captains on both sides of the ball. So now we're left with Nick Mullins and Jaron Hall. Yeah, not looking too good. However, good thing is they had the number one, or their first round draft pick was the 11th, right? So what did they do with it? They traded up one spot and they got him at the 10th, which is the last time the Vikings did this was in 1999 when they selected freaking Dante Culpepper at the 11th spot. Derpy, were you even like alive at that time? I don't even know. 99? Like that's a long time. So, and Dante Culpepper turned out to be a really good QB at his time. So, I mean, the nowadays QBs, they're not as athletic as, or like they have to survive as much as they do. Like now it's reliable, back then. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy that the Vikings haven't selected a QB this early in quite some time. So, yeah. I was Derpy says I was 3, yes. Yeah, I was just a kid too. So I don't know. I think I was just 10. I think I was 10 years old at the time. So yeah. So they selected this guy to be the future, maybe potentially. I don't expect him to start. But yeah, that's JJ McCarthy. So we'll talk about him as we get along. But for agency, they made some moves. Okay, obviously the loss of like I said, their main captains. They got themselves Sam Darnold, and they signed him to a 1-year deal, $10 million. So let's see how this plays out for him. I don't know if he's going to be there any longer. If he balls out, and this is where his calling's at. I mean, he is a former first rounder, but again, he hasn't really played to his potential since he's been in. The Jets never did anything for him. He went to San Francisco. They had other plans for him as a backup, and then now he's here. So it's kind of been bouncing around. And he hasn't really had that start since he was with the Jets. It is what it is. Good luck, Sam Darnold. I still like watching him play, but he's not like the best. But so they also went after Aaron Jones after losing Cook which is funny because Aaron Jones' only reason for signing is to play against Green Bay. He says otherwise. I think not. Green Bay literally released him after saying that they were going to work with them, and they didn't, and they let him loose, and he got mad. Literally, it wasn't even 24 hours. Not even 24 hours went by. Jones signed with the Vikings for a 1-year deal for $7 million. $7 million. Like, this man took that's that was just pure hatred. Like, I just want to play Green Bay and beat them twice. Is that what that basically said? So, it's a bit of a risk. I mean, he is 29 years old. He is up there. He's been playing 7 full seasons with the Packers, and they have run him to the ground. Does he do the same with the Packers? I don't know. Again, you saw a lot of wear and tear on his body in the last couple of years. You saw that he was out for a good handful of games. He wasn't the same Aaron Jones that we saw when he was younger. So for him to be on the Vikings and probably be like basically the only one, I mean, I don't expect Ty Chandler to be this, savior for them. I just don't. So for them to actually expect them both have a 1-2 punch, I think it's probably just going to be a 1 punch, to be honest, with Aaron Jones. So that was it. Then like I said, they lost Daniel Hunter and also other key pieces. So but they replaced it with Jonathan Grenard, who's really good. I think he's probably one of the best linebackers in the league right now. And then they got themselves another linebacker, Andrew Van Ginkel, coming from Miami Dolphins. So it's good. And then you got Blake Cashman as well, who also brought in. So the linebacker crew I like for this team. They brought in some good talent, and they can get it done. And they also brought in a corner for him, Shaquille Griffin, who was kind of around the league as well, who is pretty decent, but help out Booth there and see what happens. But I don't know how this is going to play out. Again, these guys, they are veterans. They're not like spring chickens either. So we'll see. Hopefully this works out. But as for the draft, definitely, I love what they did. I love what they did. I'm not hating what they did. They went after pieces that they needed. So yeah, that's good. So yeah. Derby. Oh, sub 202 is in here as well. Coming from Ohio State fan, I don't expect him to do anything. We'll see. I mean, he's kind of in a situation where it's like, well, it is what it is. There's no other talent there. They just kind of brought him in. Hopefully, he does something. But again, just popping in real quick. I am at the lake. I'm here to give my 6 or 7 wins this year. Defensively, I think they'll be on all cylinders. Offense is going to take a while to wake up. Yeah, and I agree. The fact is that it's a new captain at the helm. So we'll see how it is. But thanks for coming in, man, and enjoy your time at the lake. But I'll mark you down as for 6.5 wins for later when we get to the schedule and the record, and I'll put that at 6.5. So yeah, I don't know if they got a win looking at this. I haven't even seen it. I'm gonna leave it towards the end of the episode, and once I see it, I'll give my mark on how I feel about this team. But so far, the moves they're making is not free agency. It's like nobody like Aaron Jones, Sam Darnold, and Jonathan Grenard. That was basically how I saw and what I saw. And basically the only guys probably coming in who are making immediate impact. Van Ginkel's good as well. But with the draft and who they have lined up behind him, like Gregory Hill also got signed too, so he's just as good. So but I think Van Ginkel might start more than likely, but we'll see. But let's get these draft picks out of the way, right? So coming in at the 10th pick, basically, they had JJ McCarthy. And again, like I said, the last time they drafted a quarterback this high was Dante Culpepper in 99. So they must really believe in this guy. But then quarterbacks this year was the year to get a quarterback, because the next 2 years it's going to be very detrimental. I don't think you're going to grab yourself a quarterback. They're not that good. So it is what it is. But my favorite pick here, and probably my favorite pick in the entire draft, is probably Dallas Turner. They needed to replace Daniel Hunter, and they did. Dallas Turner is probably, and they got so lucky. I don't know how he fell all the way to 17. He should have been picked up way earlier, from the first 8 to 12 teams. So for them to get him at 17 is amazing. And how mad is Dallas Turner for not being selected higher? I can't blame him. And I think he's going to come out for vengeance. I think he's going to be one of the best, edge rushers there is. If you play IDP, I suggest getting him. He's going to be edge. He's going to be edge, so he's going to have that linebacker D line eligibility. I think he already does. I haven't checked, but I'm pretty sure he already does. So, and then they got Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon, give some more depth to the corner, and then Walter Rouse, of course, hop out that line. And of course, they didn't have a 5th pick, and they didn't have like a 3rd or a 2nd pick. So they had to wait a little bit. But, the cost that they had to get for the trades that they had to make, I understand. Real Richard kicker, yeah, it's like it kind of gets ugly after this, basically. Michael Juergens, center, and then Drake Rodriguez. So it's like kind of filler guys. I don't know if these guys are going to actually make the team or cut it. Like, it's just we'll see. They still have to make their cuts. They're all in training camp right now. I haven't heard anything about these guys yet. So, but for the first 2-3 picks, man, I love the first 4 free agency moves they made, and then the first 3 picks I love. Of course, some teams make more moves than that, but this could elevate them a little bit better. But again, it's going to be scary without Kirk Cousins. They've never had anybody there besides him for the last handful of years. So for Justin Jefferson to have an entirely new quarterback is kind of scary, despite the contract they just gave him. And we'll talk about that too, because that was very interesting. It just happened like this week. Derp says Dallas Turner. Definitely, there's the best pick of Jackson is underrated. Yeah. So and that, I also agree. So for Turner to come in, he's so good. Good for them. Good for them. I'm really just applauding them for reals. Like, if they got him there at the 17, like you couldn't have passed that up. So let's look at their depth chart. The Minnesota Vikings obviously are running with with Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores. Why is it so difficult for me to get this on here every time? There it is. All right. So, offensively, Sam Darnold and JJ McCarthy with the additions of Nick Mullins. I don't expect JJ to play right away. I think that he might come in later, maybe after the bye week. Because I said at this point, well, what do you got to lose? You don't really have to. You're not losing much. Like they're throwing around guys for positions. Like they just moved N'Keal Harry from receiver to tight end. Despite of all the tight ends that they have there, Robert Tonyan is also there. They just got from Chicago, who was ironically a Green Bay Packer. So yeah, so he's been moved around as well. And then they got TJ Hawkinson, who is banged up. So we'll see how this carries on. N'Keal Harry, with his new recently move, this could be a good or bad thing. It is an interesting move. We've seen receivers go from tight ends before and they didn't really pan out. So it is what it is. This line is also like Christian Darrisaw is good. Bradbury's good. Ingram, they're all right, but it's just they're gonna need some help. I don't know how well they're gonna do. You can't just rely on Justin Jefferson the entire time. The thing is, how are you going to get it to him if you have no line? How are you going to get it to him if the line's only average? Getting the ball to Justin Jefferson is going to be very difficult, but it's a possibility. You get the man the ball, he'll make something with it. But the problem is getting it to them. Of course, you have the help of Aaron Jones, Ty Chandler, and Myles Gaskin also got thrown in there as well from last year. So look, it doesn't look pretty. You're relying on old talent here, and then questionable talent here. It's all possible, but damn, this is a lot on their defense. It's a lot on their defense, and it's going to be a struggle bus. I'm not going to lie. It is going to be a struggle bus 100%. So Sam Darnold for the win. Darnold has a better chance than and for sure. And I agree. What's up? Anthony coming in here. Sam Darnold ain't keeping the starting job on easy offense. And he could, but I don't think he will either. Like, honestly, if you go after the bye and they're already losing every game, you might as well just throw JJ in there and hope that something's okay. But again, this line's not gonna do him any justice. So yeah. But moving on, obviously for dynasty purposes, you're gonna go after Justin Jefferson regardless of what's going on. You know he's gonna be there for another 4 years. That contract was very interesting. A lot of contracts they pay up front. This one was kind of like back towards the end. So I think one of the years was like 20 million or something like that. It wasn't even like 30 million, 20 million, 50. So like essentially it was 140 million, right? 110 of that is basically guaranteed, but spread out throughout the year. So let me make it that easier. All right. So think of it that way. It was 140, and the contract situation was really weird. If you want to average it out, it would come out to be almost 30 to 35 million a year. If you think about it. And people are saying, oh, it's quarterback money. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not. I understand right now he is the highest paid. I get it. 2 years ago, you could probably say that was quarterback money. You got to remember that in the last 2 years, the cap went up on every single team on NFL. Inflation has affected everything. Okay. Like the percentage of what these teams are making and what they're getting and what they're paying these players has went up. So spread out, if you look at it, it's not like entirely like crazy amount. Yeah, it's 140 million, but it's spread out differently. And like I said, this contract's very weird, but it is the 4 years. He's basically like, if you want to say 110 of it's basically going to be money in his pocket. And if you really want to average it out to all the 4 years, it's going to be 35 roughly. So yeah, it's good for him. He definitely got himself money in the bank. And he deserves it. He's one of the best. I'm actually looking forward to his Netflix special because he spent a lot of time traveling the world, spreading the love of football that he likes around other countries with other professional athletes. So I think it's on Netflix coming out this year. So Justin Jefferson should have that going on. But I'm excited to see it. I kind of want to tune in to watch those and just to see his perspective on his world and how there's so many other countries out there that play this sport that it's like quite wild, really. And it's kind of amazing. So but yeah. Anthony, more games overseas, more money for the cap. Yeah, exactly. So, eventually they have to somehow make money and somehow adjust to what these players are making, what these facilities are making, and how they're going to pay out. All these travels, like, what was the one yesterday that I got a notification? It was, which was stupid. The Brazil game, I think. Was it Brazil? That Philadelphia and the Green Bay Packers are not allowed to wear green because of gang-related colors. Like, listen, if you're asking me this, how I feel about that, why are we sending our players there if it's like they can't even wear their colors? Like, get out of here. Like, the situation is so dangerous. Why are we traveling to these places if they're that dangerous? It just makes no sense to me. So they have to come. So what? All yellow uniforms and white versus yellow? So that's the only thing I can think of. Like, the Packers are going to have to wear that weird gray, dark blue looking freaking uniform with the yellow helmets and with the yellow pants. For Philadelphia, their helmets have always been green. So what? Whatever. But it is what it is. Let the NFL handle it. I'm pretty sure they'll get away with green helmets with the rest of the uniform being white. That just made no sense whatsoever. I'm like, listen, dude, you brought this upon yourself, and now you're worried about the security of our players, that they have to be escorted by security everywhere, no matter where they go. I don't know. The whole point of them to have fun, travel there, meet the locals, see the restaurants, whatever. I don't think they're going to be able to do that. And that just kind of denies the whole purpose of traveling there and having fun. So, defense. Jonathan Bullard, Harrison Phillips, Jerry Taylor, and Jonathan Grenard. Those are probably going to be the front four. Grenard's probably an edge, so I don't really consider him as a linebacker. Blake Cashman, Ivan Pace, and Andrew Van Ginkel are going to be the back three behind that line, with the addition of Gregory Hill and Dallas Turner. So I do expect Dallas Turner to be on the opposite side of Jonathan Grenard, with the upright of Blake Cashman, Gregory Hill, and Van Ginkel. Asamoah could be there, but again, I think Gregory Hill still has some left in the tank to outdo him. So teach the kid some tips or something. But he's been in the league for quite some time. I remember he was really, really good in the Patriots. So, and then also Carolina. I think he played for the Chargers as well. So he's at the end of his career, but he's still good. He still could teach. But Ivan Pace, Cashman, and Van Ginkel are probably going to be the up linebackers there. And I'm excited to see what they do for IDP purposes. I think these guys are going to end up with a lot of points, but I'm not spending any high draft picks on a startup. So maybe a late rounder on Van Ginkel. And for the rest of these guys, maybe a waiver. Obviously, I said Dallas Turner is probably one of those guys you want to grab because I think he's going to be there for quite some time to create some havoc. He's that good. I think he's that good. I think he's going to be a very good, talented player. And the Vikings got themselves a special DN there, so good for him. As for the old man Harrison Smith, Jesus, like, when are you going to retire, my guy? Let Theo Jackson get his time in, and Lewis sign. Like, you guys, like last year, they drafted Lewis sign, and either he sucks or they're just not giving him his time. So that one's confusing. But Cameron Beenham is so good. He's a really good safety. So I think he was like third overall in DBs and IDP leagues. So definitely get that guy. But again, DBs are very hard to justify in IDP leagues. You'll soon find out if you join our league. We're gonna have one here starting up soon. And we're gonna run just the IDP league. So if you're not familiar with IDP, it's just an IDP league. So it's not with the offense and IDP, but we're just going to make a just IDP league. I know Anthony might get himself in that. He loves IDP. And again, he makes every show. So again, thank you. I'm going to thank you in advance because I'm pretty sure you're going to join. So yeah. All right. So for Dynasty purposes, again, Dallas Turner, I kind of want to trade for this guy. If you need D lineman bad, this guy might be your guy because he's going to have that dual eligibility for sure. Probably second round after you draft your main offensive key weapon and then get him in the second. In a rookie draft, not so much like a startup. A startup, I would say, geez, like probably 11th round or 10th round. So yeah. Okay, so for schedule, the Vikings schedule. Here it is. I haven't seen it, but here we are. I'm looking at it now. And we got New York, week 1, San Francisco, week 2, Texans 3, Green Bay in 4, the Jets at 5, and then they got a bye week in 6. Then they travel. No, they're home there for the Lions. Then we got the Rams, the Colts, Jaguars, Tennessee, week 12, Chicago, week 13, Cardinals, Falcons, Chicago, Seahawks, and then the Green Bay Packers and the Lions to end the season. So week 1, I could assume they win, right? Giants doesn't look too good over there. They could probably win that one, maybe. San Francisco, no. Texans, no. Green Bay, no. The Jets, no. Jeez, they're gonna looking at 0-4 before the bye week, and that's a really tough bye week. Week 6, that's so early in the league. That is so early in the league, and that sucks for them. Then you got the Lions, and then the Rams. I don't think they're gonna beat the Lions at all this year. I don't think they beat the Packers at all this year. And if the Chicago Bears pop off right away with all this new staff and rookies and everything, I don't think they beat them either. It's going to look bad. They could get swept in their own freaking division. I think the only wins I see here is potentially New York at the beginning. And the Titans at week 11. Oh boy. It's going to be a rough one. It's going to be a rough one. Matter of fact, let's just look at next year's draft and start planning ahead, Vikings. Minnesota. It's looking rough. It's looking rough. However, you do have if JJ plays to his full potential, and here's the thing about JJ McCarthy, okay? And I'm not saying he's a Jimmy Garoppolo, but he can be a Jimmy Garoppolo, and not as a player sense and not by a look sense. I'm just saying by sense of getting the wins that are necessary to get surpass a win. He's not going to be. I don't think he's going to be coming in here crazy numbers right off the bat. And I mean, a lot of rookies come in, they don't do like not everyone's CJ Stroud, okay, but it's just, but and I'm trying to think here. If they beat the Giants, maybe split with no, I think the Packers are too good for them. There's just too many new pieces for me that I think that they're not going to make it. They're not going to make it that well. And I think for the corner situation for this team is kind of, I think that's their main issue here. I know they got Murphy, and they just got Shaquille Griffin, and Andrew Booth, but it's like, let's see. Let me go again. I got the Giants. I got the Titans, and they could split with one of their in division games. It's not going to be the Lions. It could be Chicago. I think it might be Chicago. I'm going to leave it at 2, though. I'm going to leave it at 2. I don't think they could beat the Seahawks or the Falcons or the Cardinals or the Colts. It's just too many new pieces that need to figure out what they're going. The defense is kind of like still needs work. Again, if they do split with, I'm gonna say 2.5, which maybe 3. I don't know. All right, let's get these averaged up. All right, so I have Derpy here with 3 and 14. Anthony coming in here with 8. And Tua earlier came in, popped in, and he said 6 to 7 wins. So let's see. We have 6, 8, 3, and I'll stick with my 2. So, oops. We're looking at 4 to 5 wins with our averages. Maybe week 1, maybe 8, 9, 11, 13, 15, 16, 17. I say 17 and 18 if the Packers and the Lions sit their starters, so altogether it's 7 wins. And that's a possibility that these last games. You're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. I'll go 3. And you bring up a good solid point. If you bring it, so if it's 3, so you're 8, 2 is 6. That brings it to 5 wins. You think you think week 8 against the Rams, the Colts, the Titans, and you also think week 13 the Cardinals, you think week 15 the Bears, and week 17, 18 if they sit their guys out. I don't know if they could beat those guys. Maybe the Cardinals? I think the Cardinals and Vikings would be an interesting game. I think that'd be a very interesting game. But I think that there's more talent on the card. I'm sticking with 3, man. You're 8. Mine and Derpy's 3 with 2 is 6. That's going to be an average of 5. It's going to be an average of 5. And I'm glad Tua came in and said something because I don't think he liked the fact that myself and Derpy gave the Falcons a 10 the other day. I read your comments, man. If you're watching this later, I read your comments. Said he was gone for 2 days and we gave him a 10. I'm like, hey, listen, if you come in here real quick and just pop in real quick and say, hey, here's my records, I'll count them in. I'll count them in, guys. All right, so let's do this. Just bump it up to 6 wins? For me? You're at 8. 5 at the most for the Vikings. So are you changing from I'm not bumping up to 6. Here's the thing. I think my 3, Derpy thinks 3, unless he's changing it to 5. That's going to change it. But your 8 is what justifies my 3 and your 8. I average it with 2 is 6. So I wouldn't bump it up. I'm staying at 3. Okay. That's Anthony. That's 3. That's 2 3s. So the 2 3s are pulling your 8 down. And I'm one of those 3s. With 2 is 6, you're the only one here. Look, hey, it's not my fault that the other guys aren't jumping in and just giving their records real quick. So change mine from 8 to 7. All right, so now that's going to change it then. That's going to change it. So if I do 8 to 7, right? The percentage isn't that big enough. Yeah. It's like a quarter of a percentage, which will still stay at 5. You would have to change it probably to 6 to make it even go down to 4.5, maybe 4. So they got Sam Darnold and a rookie, and that's performing horribly. Yeah, and this is why I'm thinking it's going to be 3. I'm thinking the same, Derpy. I'm not. Look, Derby, you and I have been agreeing on way too many things lately, and it's kind of scary. I don't like it. All right, let's get this out of the way. Let's put our average here, and where's it at? The Vikings, bada bing, boom. There we go. All right. Let me put myself in the corner, make it bigger. Minnesota Vikings. Am I missing that division? I am missing that division. Nope, it's right at top left. All right. Let's do it. Let's do it 5. And that's not entirely too bad either. I mean, that could be worse. It could be worse. Let's put the 5 there. Let's make it a little bit bigger. I can notice it. There you go. 5. All right. There it is. 5. Yeah, I know, Derpy. It's really weird. It's really weird. All right. So for the past couple weeks, we've been doing these teams. If you're listening on Spotify, you can always swing over towards the end of the episode. I have a full kind of semi chart. The chart's not up yet. We will have a chart. But so far we have the first 5 teams we're going to revisit as we normally do when we get closer to the team. So that means probably the Bears, the Commanders, the Giants, and the Cardinals. We'll probably more than likely revisit, and then also the Patriots. We'll probably do like quick show on them on Wednesdays. So yeah, we got Bears 9, Washington at 6, the Giants at 5, the Cardinals at 6.5, the Vikings at 5, and the Titans at 5.5. Or wait, I said Cardinals at 6.5 as well. Did I say that? Yeah. And the Patriots at 4, with also Atlanta being there at 10. So, and the Chargers at 8.5. And if you're like, holy crap, these numbers are wild, go check out these episodes towards the end. And I kind of went over and talked over on why. Call me crazy, but we'll see how this runs towards when we get towards the end of next season and see how accurate we were. But Anthony comes in. So FanDuel got Vikings at 7.5, so go under. And who put 9 for the Bears? I think it was accumulation at everyone. I think it was an accumulation of everyone. I think we had almost 5 people come in that show and actually said different numbers. I think I gave them an 8. Someone wanted a 10. I don't even remember. Like, as soon as I'm done with the team, this is why I stamp mark my label here of the numbers, and I move on to the next team so I can start studying on the next one. I could do the Jets today. Again, I've been doing something happened in the week, Thursday and Friday, that I just kind of like, I just couldn't really do football. So if I do the Jets, it'll be later this afternoon, but the show is kind of ready and up. So I'm debating on doing it maybe after tomorrow's show. And then I'll catch up on Monday and do a double header on Monday, like I did the beginning of the week of this one. So you ready for the Jets? Right on, Derpy. You're right on. So again, if I don't do the Jets tonight, that's because it's Saturday. I just kind of want to chill. But it's still kind of early in the day, so I don't know. Who knows? Again, if you see the notification, swing by. If you're busy, just say, hey, here's my record. Boom, got it. Stamp it, and I'll keep track of it, such as what Tua did earlier. I hope he's having a good time at the lake. So, I don't know, Anthony. I'm not going to... Look, the whole reason I do this is because I hate what these predictions on what FanDuel and all the Vegas line does. I don't care. I don't care. So Bears have a rookie QB, though. It's not likely they have CJ Stroud. I know, but the talent, like they have Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and their worst receiver is Rome Odunze, who's really good. And Cole Kmet, and the line's not half bad with Swift and Herbert. Yeah, think about that. The kid has so many weapons and a nice line that he is destined to do above average at worst, right? Supposedly. But again, Derpy, I don't know. We're going to revisit that team. They're the first team we did. We always revisit the first 5 before we finalize our records, before we go into the season. And then we check this stupid thing out throughout the entire season and see how well they do. Because last year we thought that Aaron Rodgers was going to be healthy and we had the Jets going into the playoffs. And that ruined our entire bracket. So it's the Bears, though. Listen. All right. I understand this is the Vikings video, but no. That 9 bugs you? Well, I'm sorry, Derpy. I'm sorry. Okay. Look, they should prime to do good. Their defense actually got a lot better, and yeah. So, anyways, guys, that's it. That's for the Vikings. Next show we'll do is the Jets. If not, next show will be tomorrow, the morning spike. And that should be an interesting one because the whole gang should be there finally together. Hopefully. I hope that even Tank makes it, and all 4 of us will be on there. If not, someone will be there. If not, I'll be there. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning as we talk about the morning spike. If not, if I do the Jets today. But don't count on that. So anyways, guys, good morning, good evening, good night. This is the Viking show here on Dynasty Pylon. Thanks for coming in, giving me you guys records, and we'll see how this team plays out. There's a schedule again. I know it's a little bit behind. I get it, but that is the Jets following up with the Broncos, so we'll probably end up doing that Monday or Tuesday, and then follow up with the Raiders. So, again, love you guys. Take care. Thanks for watching.
Getting hype when I aim up, elevating that game up, stepping up to the competition. Only first place, and that's how I'm living. I'm with it till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. When I watch me elevate.